Which is better for your at-home coffee shop? A Keurig single-serve brewer or a Dolce Gusto single-serve brewer? Well, let's talk about that today here on Aromacup.com. Hi everyone, I'm Brian with Aromacup.com, and thank you as always for joining me here in my virtual coffee shop brought to you by Aromacup.com. Now today I'm going to hopefully help you guys to answer a question that might be plaguing you a little bit, and that is, should you get a Keurig single-serve brewer or a Dolce Gusto single-serve brewer? Now, I've done in-depth independent reviews of each of the machines that I have here on my desk today. So you can check out those videos if you want to find out some more information specifically about each of them. I'm just going to talk today about the differences between the Keurig line of brewers and the Dolce Gusto line of brewers. So let's dive in, talk about some of the differences, similarities, and hopefully help you to make an informed decision. Let's start off by just simply talking about the differences between these two lines of machines. Now, Keurig was really one of, they were the first to market with single-serve brewers. They've done it really well for a number of years, and there's a lot of different ways to brew with a Keurig machine. But the ones that you've come to know the most immediately are going to be K-Cup brewers and the new VUE style brewers from Keurig. And these are very well known, time tested. There's a ton of different options for the pods that you can use for these machines. For the Keurig VUE machines, you have VUE pods. For the K-Cup machines, you have K-Cups, and you have different versions of those K-Cups, literally almost hundreds of different kinds, because there are different companies that are able to make those K-Cups now. So there's a lot of different options in a Keurig single-serve brewing option if you're going to look to add that to your own at-home coffee shop. On the Dolce Gusto side, it's a little more restricted, and that's because you can only use the Dolce Gusto pods. There are no brew your own options for Dolce Gusto at the making of this video. There are for Keurig machines. The design of the machines is a little bit different, as you can see just side by side comparing them. Dolce Gusto machines can be kind of crazy looking, like this Circolo machine that I have right here, which is very futuristic looking. The brewing options for these machines are pretty straightforward, basically allowing you to choose a cup size and then choose if you want to brew a hot or a cold option. But that's kind of about it. You do have the option to make some specialty drinks like cappuccinos, hot chocolates, things like that. But again, they are restricted because there's not that wealth of pods available to you. That's probably the biggest difference when you really come down to it, is going to be the beverage selection that you get between the two lines. You're going to get a lot more with a Keurig machine. That's just the bottom line. Because of all the different types of pods, whether you go with a VUE machine or a K-Cup machine, whatever that may be, you're going to get a large wealth of different types of beverages you can make, whereas with Dolce Gusto, you're a little more restricted. That said, they all offer single-serve ease, giving you the ability to simply pop a pod in, press a button, and get a cup of coffee. They have water tanks that are built into the machines that are going to give you that water that you need immediately when the machine is all heated up and ready to go. They use single-serve ease, of course, so it's just a coffee pod for brewing. But that said, again, you're going to get more of those options for brewing on a Keurig machine. One place where Dolce Gusto does win over Keurig is that you can make espresso-based drinks using a Dolce Gusto machine. You can't do that with Keurig machines, whether it be the VUE machine or the K-Cup machine. There just aren't espresso options for either of these. You could do a very strong brew, but you can't do espresso. There just aren't espresso options for these machines. So if you do like your espresso and your coffee, you are going to be able to do it on the Dolce Gusto machine. And the Dolce Gusto does offer on all of its machines the ability to make a cold brew coffee. Whereas to do that with Keurig, you're going to need to get a VUE machine most of the time in order to have a pre-programmed option for that. That doesn't mean you can't do a cold brew option with a K-Cup, but there are pre-programmed options for doing that in the Keurig VUE machine and then also in the Dolce Gusto machines. Let's also mention pods and just their overall cost, because when you come right down to it, the coffee pod and how much you're going to spend on that pod is really going to impact how much that machine is going to cost you over the lifetime of that machine. So that said, K-Cups are generally going to be about your least expensive option for getting into the world of single serve. We've seen the cost per pod/cup go to about as low as about 30 cents with a K-Cup. That's really nearly nothing for a cup of coffee when you come right down to it. Now, as you move up, you're going to spend a little bit more on a VUE pack than you are in a K-Cup. And then in a Dolce Gusto setting, you're looking at about 62, 63 cents per pod/cup. That's a little bit higher. That's not as high as some of the single serve machines that I have reviewed, where we've looked at almost $1 per pod. But those are typically the more specialized machines that are doing specifically only espresso or some kind of hybrid variation of espresso and coffee, such as some of those ones that are offered by Nespresso. So if you're looking to be pretty cost effective about your coffee making, a K-Cup machine or a Keurig machine in some way is going to answer that need the best for you if you don't want to spend as much per pod. Another thing worth mentioning on pods is that Dolce Gusto pods are not recyclable, and I've been pointing this out on our other videos. The plastic, because it has to deal with very high temperatures, it's just not going to be recyclable, not at the making of this video. Whereas with Keurig machines, you can find some options for K-Cups that are almost completely biodegradable, such as those from Rogers Family Coffee, which are pretty cool and gonna save the earth a little more readily. And you even have the option to make your own coffee, such as by utilizing an Echo Brew for one of these machines, in which case your footprint is going to be nearly nothing. And then Keurig did answer those folks who were sort of calling them out on the green nature of their coffee with their single serve pods with the VUE packs, where we can actually recycle at least a portion of this pack if the local recycling options wherever we live will afford us to do that. So there are more recyclable and green options in the Keurig world, whereas in the Dolce Gusto world, it's just honestly not there. Not yet. It may get there, but right now it just isn't. A quick word about temperature, because temperature is very important to those of us in the coffee world. On the Keurig machines, I will say that the temperature is not always incredibly consistent, but you can adjust the temperature depending on the Keurig machine that you are using. So you can dial your temperature in just a little bit in order to match your specific brew and what you want. That said, even at the highest setting for almost any Keurig machine I've ever used, I've never seen a Keurig machine get as hot as it says it can. I've seen these machines say that they can get to 190 degrees Fahrenheit, and I've never seen it happen, in all honesty. So the temperature is not as consistent, whereas in the Dolce Gusto line, you only have the option of hot or cold. You really don't get to dial in your temperature very specifically, but the temperature is much more consistent and a lot hotter, reaching typically around 180 degrees Fahrenheit and being very consistent about it. So while you can't adjust the temperature, it is more consistent. In the world of Dolce Gusto, it's just gonna, again, come down to how picky you wanna be about your brew temperature. Now, pricing on the machines themselves, that's something that's gonna be real important to you, and we're gonna help you to answer that. Now, with a Keurig machine, the fact is that the pricing typically starts somewhere around, on average, about $100 and can move up from there. For the machines I have in front of me here today, I'm looking at a price range of going onto the low side about $100 and the high side in the Dolce Gusto machines about $200, and I could pretty much get any of these machines for somewhere in that price range. That's pretty good when you consider the number of features on either one of the machines. But with Keurig, there are different companies that make K-Cup compatible machines like Cuisinart and Bunn and various different companies. And so therefore, you're going to find more competitive pricing with a Keurig machine than you are with the Dolce Gusto, where the prices are going to be locked in because the only company who's making Dolce Gusto machines is going to be Nescafe. So if you are trying to, again, be a little easy on your pocketbook, you're probably going to look at a Keurig machine of some kind, because again, you're going to get a machine that you can find Keurig K-Cup machines for the very, very low end of probably somewhere below $40. However, Dolce Gusto does offer an option in their Dolce Gusto line that will allow you to get a machine for about $39. So really the prices are competitive and comparable between Keurig and Dolce Gusto. It's just that the feature set changes as you spend a little bit more and you get into a different style machine. So, what is my bottom line when it comes to comparing the Keurig single-serve brewers and the Dolce Gusto single-serve brewers? If you want the ability to make espresso and coffee and some specialty drinks, but a large range of beverage types is not important to you, and you want a cool, stylish looking, very unique machine, the Dolce Gusto machines are going to answer that need and do it pretty well for a price point that's not too bad. If you want to be able to quickly and easily do iced drinks, hot drinks, a number of different specialty drinks, have a very, very large range of beverages that you have access to, and probably spend a little bit less money on maybe your machine and your price per cup, a Keurig line machine is going to be the way for you to go. Really though, when you come right down to it, both of these lines are very comparable on what they offer, whether that be pricing or overall feature set. It's just the very simple fact is that Keurig, because of its age, because of how long we've been using these machines, there are just more beverages that you can make use of and brew from a Keurig machine than there are with Dolce Gusto. That might change, we don't know. We're probably going to see more Dolce Gusto pods come out over time, but at the making of this video, Keurig is still the winner hands down when it comes to beverage variety. So, there you go guys. I hope that that is a useful and helpful comparison between the Keurig line of single-serve brewers and the Dolce Gusto line of single-serve brewers. Again, we have in-depth overviews on all of these machines, so make sure to check out the links here on our YouTube channel. Or if I've missed anything, if you have questions, comments, get in touch with us in the comments section of this video and we'll help you out. We're always happy to talk coffee with you guys. You can also visit us on Aromacup.com where you can talk coffee with us 24/7. As always guys, I am Brian, coming to you from my virtual coffee shop brought to you by Aromacup.com. I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to ask you to enjoy your cup and I'll see you next time. Take care.